I'm the director of a research project which investigates what has happened to the quality of work over the last quarter of a century, why this has happened, and who are the winners and losers of this process. We address this broad research question by carrying out a survey of workers every 5 years. The survey asks workers a series of questions about their jobs. Those interviewed are selected randomly and are invited to take part in a face-to-face interview. These are carried out in workers' homes and last around an hour. As a result, we collect a lot of data about the world of work through the eyes of workers themselves. The latest survey was carried out in 2012 and consisted of interviews with 3,200 workers. It was the 6th survey in the series, so by comparing the results people gave in 2012 with previous surveys, we can see how things have changed. Some of our comparisons stretch back as far as 1986. So what have we found? One of the most striking findings is that workers are feeling more insecure and pressurised than at any other time in the past 20 years. These findings make grim reading. Fear of job loss is higher now than ever before, even though unemployment levels are not as high as they were in the mid-1980s. Over half feel that their jobs might be downgraded in some way. That's double the proportion who think they might lose their jobs. Fear then is more widespread than fear about job loss alone. Those who have survived the recent recession by remaining in work are fearful that their jobs may change for the worse. They are working harder now than in the past. That is to say, they are working quicker and under greater deadline pressures than ever before. They feel less positive about their work and are under greater stress and have lower levels of job-related well-being. As I said, a rather grim picture, but one which I'm sure many viewers of this video are familiar, either through personal experience or through the experience of family and friends. So why is this happening? The first thing to say is that the climate of fear extends to all parts of the economy, and no particular social group seems to be immune. However, it has grown particularly sharply in the public sector, which has historically been more protected from these fears. You might then ask, what are the explanations? We can address this question by examining the relationship between suspected causal factors and the outcomes, such as insecurity, fear, work intensity, and well-being. The most obvious explanation is the recession of 2008-2009 and the public sector cutbacks which have followed. These associations are confirmed by the data. So, for example, workers who have seen job losses close at hand are more likely to feel greater levels of insecurity and more fearful that they will be moved to a less appealing or a lower paying job in the organisation. The pleasure and arousal level of jobs has also fallen in the recession. This trend is related to organisational downsizing, increased work intensification and rising levels of job insecurity. In other words, the fall in job-related well-being is strongly associated with many of the recession-related trends. A more long-term factor is computerisation, which is strongly related to work intensification, which suggests that employers are using new technology to make workers work harder. Even the prospect of technology potentially being used to monitor performance can increase work effort. This is known as effort-biased technological change. What can mitigate these effects? The worst effects of this climate of fear are lessened by the way work is itself organised, and in particular the level of say workers have in how work is carried out. The more employee involvement there is, the lower the level of fear. So employers can do a lot to lessen workers' fears by involving them more in workplace decisions in these difficult economic times. There is a business case for them doing so, since high levels of workplace stress can be disruptive to businesses through high levels of absenteeism, long-term sickness, and even increases in accident rates. These are all costly to businesses. Government can do something too, since the largest increases in fear are in the public sector. If you're interested in learning more about the outcomes of this particular research project, I suggest you visit the project website, which is shown at the end of this video.